Saber-X Studios presents.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Juice It Up podcast. I'm here in Kentucky at Big Blue Showdown 2 with its event runner, really, Nathan Little, a.k.a. Razor. Welcome on to the podcast, man.
Well, good to be here. Glad that I didn't go down to Tennessee with you losers down there, and you guys came up here to God's country, to where it all started, Kentucky, where it was all pioneered, the center of the United States.
I can tell that you're the king of Queen City streams, and I really appreciate you guys having us down here this weekend. But there's something really big going around right now, and no pun intended, but this coronavirus really has everyone sort of freaked out, from big events to small events, really. And as a fellow tournament organizer, I'm curious as to how exactly, like, you're thinking about the future with everything that's going on right now.
I mean, that's a good question. Even though you're from Tennessee, that's a good question, and you guys will find out. You're talking to Nathan sometimes, and then you're freaking talking to Razor sometimes. All right.
I get it.
Razor is short for Hellraiser. A lot of people, when I say my tag Razor, they're like, okay, Razer or something. No, it's Razor, Raiser. Drop the hell off, Hellraiser. But as Nathan, the tournament organizer, I've had to cross over into Nathan land a lot this past week, because usually leading up to tournaments, man, we started Eastern Kentucky's scene basically by me just crap talking to everybody. And I started off.
I love it.
I started off. We're in Hazard, Kentucky, southeastern Kentucky, and then in far eastern Kentucky, there were some guys in Pikeville who we went to their events a couple times. They never came over to our events, and it kind of pissed me off a little bit. Though they were cool guys, but I mean, come on, if we're going to go to your stuff, come to our stuff, be a part of it. So we went over there and we took all their money one day, and I let them know about it.
Like by force or through Smash?
Oh, through we had a 1-2 finish.
No comment. Yeah.
We had 1-2 finish, the Hazard scene. So I called them out, and it kind of caught on with people outside, and then the next thing you know, we created a scene in Eastern Kentucky, and I've been building on that as Razor with that persona. But this past week with coronavirus, COVID-19, it wasn't. Razor didn't get to come out as much because Nathan was too busy. It was if you're in Kentucky with us, the governor has been given updates on social media, live streams, 2-3 times a day at least, and every time he makes an update, things get more wild. And to think that last Saturday, if we'd have had this event, I think we would have broken the record for the biggest Smash Ultimate event in Kentucky. And we would have raised a ton of hell. It'd have been awesome, but really since Wednesday, it's just things have been absolutely nuts. You're talking about NCAA tournament canceled, NBA canceled, but Big Blue Showdown is not, and that was a decision that was not very easy to come to. I woke up. We're recording this on Friday. The event's tomorrow on a Saturday. And I woke up this morning totally prepared after the morning news conference with the governor. After I was going to have a conference with the venue, I was prepared to shut it down the day before and issue refunds. But I talked to everyone, and they said for an event of this size, because we had 130 some entrants when everything started popping off with COVID-19. 130 some entrants, and if you guys know anything about Smash players, I don't know what it is. We have a pay at the door option, but and if you sign up, 2 months ago, you could save money and still pay at the door, but people still wait to the last friggin' minute to sign up. So we expected over 150, 160 plus people to be at this thing. But now I personally think we'll have less than 100 because people. This is unprecedented. I'm a little older than a lot of people in the Smash community. I'm not old. I'm 32, but
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Look, I used to have long hair. Now it's going south.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. No,
But
sure.
anyway, as a 32-year-old, I've seen a lot. I was in high school when 9/11 happened. I remember I remember the O.J. Simpson chase when I was in grade school. We watched the O.J. Simpson trial in my I think first or second grade class. I mean, I've been around for some groundbreaking events, but I've never seen anything like this. I have never seen
It's so crazy.
NCAA, NBA, NHL, everything just shutting down. But they told us with an event this size, the risk is still kind of low if you're smart about it. If you're smart, and we're trying to do things the right way. So
I see you guys have like a whole like cavalcade of Clorox wipes
and that is hard to come by right now. Those are people will pay a king's ransom for the cleaning supplies we've got over here.
You should definitely put them in a locked box and with a lock and key before people like take them for themselves.
Well, see, it takes so long to set up this stuff. I mean, we've been going here for a while, and originally the plan was tomorrow to come in early in the morning and get stuff set up. But I talked to the venue and I said, hey, if we can get in Friday night, set everything up, sanitize everything, and then when we get in tomorrow, work on some more systems to make sure things are all right. I think it's only going to get worse from here before it gets better. I don't think we're on the downward spike. I think this pandemic is going to get worse before it gets better. So I think this is our last opportunity. This is kind of our last stand for a while in Kentucky. There are some big events on the horizon in April and May, and maybe when it comes time for those, those people have some time to think about it. I did not. Wednesday nothing was closed on Tuesday. Nothing was closed on Monday. They started closing stuff on Wednesday. Wednesday night is when our registration closed. And I don't want to be, it's really easy because I'm sure you come in here, you've probably been to a lot of tournaments, and when you come here and you see the setup we've got, I think this is a pretty big undertaking. I think we put a lot. I came in here at 5 o'clock today and started setting things up myself. And the hotel guys were like, "Where's your help at?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm a one man band for the most part. I do have a crew that comes and helps me, but it's really my vision, and that makes it really hard to cancel things. But when you're talking about people's health, I would, in a heartbeat, if I would have had that, like I said, I woke up this morning prepared to cancel if that's what it came down to. I had the governor's news conference was not as drastic of change as it was the last time. They had announced maybe one more case or so. The cases were not. They announced that one person had completely recovered and been discharged from the hospital in Kentucky. They said, still avoid large gatherings. And when they say large gatherings, I know Ohio said 100 or more. I think we're going to be less than 100. Most places are saying 250 or more, and I don't think we're going to get anywhere near that. Even with just bystanders coming in and just hanging out, I don't think we're going to be at that. So they offered us a bigger room, a chance to space things out a little more, to do some social distancing, and we're going to, when someone comes in and says, "Okay, here's my setup," before we put that setup out, we're going to have to sanitize it. We're going to have to wash it down and then put it out, because this stuff, it's transmitted by, if you put your hands on something and you've got it, that's what's going to happen. So we've got that. We got sanitizer spray. After doubles, we're going to sanitize stuff when it comes in before doubles. After doubles is over, everybody's shutting it down. We're going to go through and spray everything again. Wipe stuff down. Start Wave A pools. Wave A pools are done. We're going to do the whole thing again. And anytime something finishes before we go on to the next phase, we're going to have to clean it up. I do think, as I said before, I think things are going to get worse before they get better. So I've already, this is probably going to go out Wednesday, so I've not but you'll get to know this before. This is breaking information, okay? I run a monthly series. This is like January and February. I ran a monthly in Hazard, Kentucky, and then in March I do my quarterly. I do it here in Lexington. It's a much bigger city. I think it's central to the Smash community in Kentucky and surrounding states. I think Lexington. It's a shame that Lexington didn't have anything bigger than this, and I have to come drive 2 hours to set it up. But I will do that. I will do that because I saw the need, and felt like this was a good time to do it. So I got in on that. April and May, I'm scheduled to do events in Hazard. I've got them on the schedule already. They will not be your typical Smash tournament. I'm going to move to online. My April and May monthlies, the Queen City Showdown, will be Wi-Fi tournaments, and people can sign up PayPal. We'll do payouts via PayPal. I will host the marquee matches in a lobby that I'm in. I'll have my stream set up at my house. The commentators, they're going to hop in Discord and commentate via Discord. Hell, we can have the juice in the Discord if you want. You can commentate with us. I mean, but
I'm now formerly known as the Juice.
okay. But either way it goes. Red Falcon, that's a stupid name, dude. Juice is where it's at. But
You're not wrong.
Okay.
You're not wrong. All right. It's interesting. This is something that some of Tennessee's TOs and stuff are talking about too, is moving things to online, or maybe having like a statewide Tennessee Wi-Fi weekly that could sort of replace everyone's weeklies that are getting canceled now. It's crazy to think about that this tournament, Big Blue Showdown 2, might be the last like big real life tournament that we participate in for a while. So even though there's that sadness that goes into it, right? That of course, wow, it has to end here. Like we don't know when it'll come back to normal, but like also what a great opportunity, right? To like leave everything out on the playing field here, to sort of show the community that you care about everything, and that also that you guys are the community really in general will just come together about this one thing.
Yeah, and I understand some people are going to be sick, and if you're sick, stay the hell at the house. We don't need that. We don't need that. I know there are people that are just anxious, that are scared to go out. In part of the governor's conference call today, or the governor's media briefing today, he said, social distancing is what we want. We want people to be out, to not be packed in like sardines in small spaces with big crowds. But quarantine is only supposed to be used if it's necessary. Quarantining is not healthy for your mind to just be by yourself. And I think for those people that maybe are medically quarantined, or people that are medically fragile and can't get out, or maybe you've got a loved one that's got some pre-existing conditions and you just don't want to get near this stuff to pass it on to them. I think Wi-Fi is the way to go. I'm a high school teacher by day, and I coach our esports team, and we're in our second year. And right now, we just Kentucky High School Sports instituted a dead period, so we can't compete for a while. And I know how much esports means to those students, because these are kids that some of them are athletes, but there's some of them that they're all athletes. Some of them play football, your traditional sports, and some of them, if not for esports, they would have never put on a jersey or been on a team or been a part of anything. They were just went through the motions at school and went home and played these same video games. So I think gathering together and playing games are still important, and I hope that locals can still continue to happen. These little 15, 20 person tournaments with all their buddies. We got one in Hazard that's so fun, but I really wonder about the bigger tournaments, how they're going to go. I know there's a larger scale event company, I guess you say, but a big group, Bourbon State Gaming in Kentucky, that have been running big events for a long time. They've got stuff in April and May scheduled, and as of right now, they're leaving it on there. But if they feel the same pressure that I did going up to this one, I mean, it was every day, every hour. I could just feel it. And then Thursday night, I couldn't sleep. Friday morning, I woke up and I was at peace with it. That I may have to cancel, that I may have to postpone or whatever else. But I'm a man of faith, so I kind of put it in God's hands and saw that. But I had those positive conversations with health officials. I listened to the news conference and I talked to the venue, and they were committed to helping us have this event and doing it the right way and keeping everybody safe. And I thought, this is our shot. This is our shot. And if people can't make it out, that's fine. You can watch it on stream. Where even if you're at home, you can be a part of this just by watching it. And I think that's something that we can do with the online stuff. People can be a part of it by watching it, and they can participate. I was in the big thousands of people Wi-Fi tournament a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was a really good format. I thought it was a really great format. I didn't do as well as I would have liked to. I wanted to win $10,000, but I came.
Not everyone can be there.
I came up a little bit short, but I had fun, and you get on and you get on Smash.gg. You check in. If your opponent checks in time, if they don't check in time, they get disqualified. If they check in, you get in. It does blind character selection for you. You get to ban your stuff right there, and it makes sure that nobody screws around. And if for some reason someone tries to report the wrong results, you have to show them your smash tags that you've collected. So it's a really good way to do things. And if you stream it, I think it keeps as many people involved as possible. That's what I'm going to do for April and May. A lot of it is because in Eastern Kentucky, our monthlies involve a lot of people from traveling in, because we don't have our weeklies range from in the 20-ish range. So monthlies are bigger, and it's a lot of stuff from it's a lot of people from outside, and they're driving, and people aren't going to want to travel for a while, I feel like.
Yeah. Well said. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Juice It Up.
Hey guys, I know this is even more prevalent than it has been before. I know a lot of events have been canceled, whether that's weeklies or big events you were thinking of going to. But if you go outside of your house, just make sure, not to fist bump or, shake hands with anybody or hug anyone. It's just best to make no contact at all. That's really there's the big thing here. It's funny, Dr. Copter and I went to doubles at Big Blue Showdown too, and of course he didn't want to shake hands with anybody, and me neither. So he came up with a quick little namaste, and that's how we said good luck to all of our opponents, and it worked out. So if you're ever going out, just give him a quick namaste, and you'll be good to go. All right, now that tip's out of the way, back to the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to Juice It Up. We're here with the king of Queen City Streams, Nathan Little, aka Razor. And if you're wondering why we don't have any juice in front of us, that's because you already drank it all. How could you?
Absolutely. It's all gone.
All right, man. Last time we checked in, we were talking about, the coronavirus and us as TOs wanting to sort of be wary of it in the future and what we were trying to do in response. But, I want to know really how you got into the scene, because before this, you told me you were actually in like a wrestling gig.
Yeah. My first tournament competing in, first tournament competing in was probably February or March of last year, of 2019, and that's Smash at any level. I used to play Melee with my friends, like when the game came out, because I'm old school like that. But as far as competing, I never competed in a Melee tournament. I didn't even play Brawl or Wii U except for a week here or there or whatever. But I got the new game, and I was excited to. I worked in news for a long time, and I worked at a TV station for about 6 years. It was a really interesting job, a really fun job. I was a digital executive producer, and it was really fun, but it was really demanding, and it took a lot of hours. And video games were something that I loved growing up, but when it came down to it, and I had a family. I got a wife, 2 kids at home, and I just didn't have time for games. I started teaching, and then you get summers off. Hell yeah, you get summers off. You get snow days. You don't ever have to work on a weekend. You work late sometimes, but it's not like in news when if something wild happens at 5 o'clock, you're going to be there for a while. So I had the opportunity to get back into games, and my wife got me a Switch for Christmas, and the game had just came out, and I got into it, and I loved it so much. And I said, you know what, I'm going to have a tournament. Didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just knew I wanted to have a tournament, and to support the esports team at the school. So I said, let's have a tournament. Didn't know anything about how payouts should work. Didn't know any, and in the school system, it's kind of wild to. You're not allowed to really to do payouts. We would have like sponsored prizes, and it was kind of weird in that sense. And then it came down to we did a tournament in January, we did a tournament in February, and we had about 20 or so in each of those tournaments. Nothing crazy, but I thought it was incredible. Then we went out to Pikeville for a tournament. And I got the idea because I used to produce for a wrestling program that was on the TV station that I worked at.
Yeah.
And I was a ring announcer. I produced, I edited it for television and stuff. And it was I've always been a big wrestling fan. So to me, wrestling was at its peak for me, like in the late '90s when they started the mid to late '90s when they started the NWO, the New World Order, and some of my buddies were in on this, and they had already started this, this kind of cliquey New World Order thing. We're like, yeah, we're the NWO, and I got in on it, and to working in wrestling for so long, I understood the ins and outs of wrestling, as in what people want to see, because wrestling is something that a lot of people don't know. There are house shows, there are tournaments, and there are house shows, and there are events that you go to, and you try to get people to buy those tickets. To sell those tickets, you have to let them know that there's something going on. You have to let them know that there's some feud or something. And I always just wanted to get in front of the camera. And because when I was in wrestling, I was always the guy doing the interviews. I was always the guy holding the microphone, and it was never as fun. It was never as fun for me in wrestling. I know I've done podcasts before. Those, it's fun to get to meet people, but when it comes time for wrestling, I'm not one holding the microphone, and these guys are just going at it, and they're believing it, and they're trying to make someone believe what's in their heart. And I said, you know what? I can do this for my tournaments. I can say to these people from Pikeville, I said, hey, we went to your tournaments. We were 1 and 2. We played each other in grand finals. Took your money, went out to eat with you, and bought our food with your money. And
Sort of just calling them out.
Calling them out. So I says, hey, come March, why don't you guys roll on down to Hazard, and we'll see what you got at Air Deal. And when it came time, it was just wild, because I wanted to get the Pikeville people's attention. And then I posted it on some group chats. Jeremy Tyler from Bourbon State Gaming, he's like, you need to post this in the Bourbon State thing. Delete that. Don't even worry about it not delete it. He's like, don't worry about it on the East Kentucky page. Post it on the Bourbon State page. So I posted it on there, and then people were commenting and saying stuff like, oh my, somebody go down there and wash these guys. They don't know what they're doing. Somebody shut these guys up because they're legitimately thinking that I, Razor, am saying I'm the best there is. Come down here and I'll show you how it is. When I suck, dude. I suck. I am as free as an American bald eagle. I have never sniffed a top 8 at a regional or a big tournament, but all I have to do is make them think that for a second. So we had. So I make another video once all these people from Louisville and Lexington are riled up, and they had just released the PR, and nobody from Eastern Kentucky was on the PR, and rightfully so at the time. And I'd said, nobody from Eastern Kentucky's on the PR, and why don't all you guys come down here and see what we got? And I had I was at my desk at the school, and I started out, I was playing guitar, and then I had a sign in the back that said "Worst Places to Live." And it said like Louisville #1. It had like Louisville #1. It said like #2 is like most third world countries. Castle Siege was on there. It was really fun. And I said, hey, if you're a PR player, you don't even have to pay. I'll pay your way in. And that's an incentive. Hey, come on down. You play for free. I get to have a big tournament. We get our name out there, and I get to do things. And we went from 20 to 40. And we had people from Lexington, Louisville, Southern Kentucky. And in that video, I did something as a joke, and it turned out to be one of the most compelling things that we did.
Yeah.
Because in that video, I said, if you're on the PR, you get in for free. But I said, but if you're one of those weebs from Southern Kentucky who posted an anime PR graphic. their PR graphic was anime characters, and I said, if you're one of those weebs from Southern Kentucky with the anime PR graphic, you're paying double. just as a joke, and I never thought anything of it. But I swear to God, they got tore all to hell about it. They came over, and a couple of them came over and did well at that tournament in March, and then after Lexington and Louisville came down and absolutely just stuck it to us. Like it was bad. It was bad.
But that's so awesome how you could sort of take those experiences you've had in your life and sort of like add that to your Smash resume and sort of create that sort of rivalry.
And we have a championship belt a custom championship belt that the winner each month has to defend. And JDB Brecker.
That's great.
JDB Brecker won it. He was the #1 player in Kentucky at the time. Came to Hazard, Kentucky, in the middle of nowhere, and won this tournament and left with the belt. He took a picture with it, and he couldn't come down to the next tournament. So then I make a video, and I said, you know what? I'm sick of this. Listen, I got news for JDB. If you think that you're something, I'll tell you what, you're vacating the title right now. Because he couldn't come, and I'm like, he's going to vacate the title immediately, and and the next one, it's open for anybody, So but I kept just throwing little barbs at the Southern Kentucky folks. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, we started a crew battle, and it was a big thing, and it was called Summer Smash, this event we're doing here, Big Blue Showdown 2, the first Big Blue Showdown, are so special in how big they are. But I'm telling you, Summer Smash to me was the first time that I really stepped back and thought, man, we've really created something great here. The March tournament where we had all the people come down, and it felt like a big deal, was cool, but at the same time, I didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the night, we went out to eat with the Louisville guys, and I asked them, I said, hey, what do I need to do to get better? What happened at this tournament that you think we need to change. And man, they had a friggin' list. They're like, well, you need to work on stages. You need to work on bands. You need to work on timing. You need to work on this and this and that. And he's like, your TVs. There, we played at a high school library, and we had these big TVs on the wall. And I'm like, oh, these are awesome. These big TVs, they'd be incredible for Smash, And everybody's like, no, the input lag is. And at the time, I could have got mad, and I said, oh, these guys are just losers. But I embraced everything they said. And then later on, I remember specifically JDB came down to a tournament a few months later, and after it was over with, I said, hey, man, how did this one go? What do you think I need to change? And he's like, dude, you're good. Because I listened to what people had to say and improved things as we went along. And I think we've grown something pretty great. But Summer Smash, we had this crew battle, and we lost, unfortunately, but we're coming back for them. We're coming back for them.
That's a guarantee.
You dirt bags. We're coming back. But the atmosphere in the room was so electric, and I've never seen that again, and I'd never seen it before. You had people chanting. You had the whole room just popping off. It was really something to be a part of, and it got I don't think people understand how heated it got while I was making these videos and putting stuff at them. They reached out to me before we did this, and they said, I think that it would be a good idea that after we do this, we don't do this for a while. We do the crew battle, and we put this behind us because things are getting too serious. I did a live stream before big events. I like to do a live stream and get people's attention and talk about stuff. I didn't do it this week because of COVID-19, but when I did it with Summer Smash, I remember there was a guy that got in the chat, and he's like, man, I'm really looking forward to watch this stream, but I hope nobody gets into a fight. And I'm like, dude, I mean, how serious do these people think this is? And before we actually had the crew battle, I huddled everybody up, and this is the first time I met a lot of them. And I said, hey guys, this is Nathan. This is not Razor. And before we get things started, I just want to let you guys know, I like all you guys. I love all you guys. I do not dislike you. This is really just us. This is me being a wrestling producer, working angles, trying to get stuff, and through whether or not we lost or won, I felt we accomplished a lot as a scene together, and today I'm working here at Big Blue Showdown 2, getting it ready, and one of the head weebs, as I called them, endearingly the entire time. Garrett, he's one of my TOs, and he does a great job. We are so much stronger as a community together. It's really good to have the rivalries, because I think people want to see that, but there's a point where you can take it too far, and I think we do a really good job of skirting the line, and that's what the original NWO did, because you couldn't tell. Everybody thought, everybody says, wrestling's fake and stuff, but when I was a kid, I said, that's not fake, because those guys, it wasn't a wrestling match half the time. They would just show up, get out of a limousine, and they would just start throwing people into trailers, and it was a fight. It wasn't a wrestling match all the time. It was guys just talking, and they would fight, and it made you feel like it was different, unlike the Undertaker using magical powers and stuff like this.
And I really like how you sort of brought that to the scene.
Yeah, and that's to bring a it's art. It's art, and art mirrors what's going on, what's going on around us and in real life. And Big Blue Showdown 2, By the time you see this video, it will already have happened. But I encourage anybody watching to go Queen City Streams, twitch.tv/Queen City Streams. Check out the VODs because I got big plans for this. And when we start singles, we're gonna kill the lights. We'll play some music, and Nathan is gonna, be gone. I'm gonna grab a microphone, and I am absolutely going to just, eviscerate anything and everything that I can.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Oh yeah, and part of, you've commented on a few of my videos. I called out Tennessee, I called out Ohio, I called out Indiana, and here's the thing, I have now got people to come here from all of those states. I called out 3 states, and Indiana was one of them, and Mysterica, number 1 player in Indiana. It was funny, and because I posted and I said, come on, you've never come down to Big Blue Showdown. You don't know what it takes to win a Big Blue Showdown, and you don't come down because you're scared of us, And Mysterica, is on Twitter and replies like, I'm really confused by this. I've come to Kentucky. I've won tournaments before. What is going on here? And I messaged her, and I'm like, hey, come on. I know who you are. Mm-hmm. I know what you've done, but I'm trying to work an angle here. And
that's the Razor we've come to know and expect.
And Mist signed up, and is going to be the number 1 seed, and is going to freaking lose, be embarrassed on stream, by God. I mean, doesn't know what's coming.
Editor, just be ready for to place that first place winner down at the bottom.
You can. It's already written down. It is foretold that Kentucky's going to come out on top in this. There's nothing that they can do about it. Look, Mist will probably ball up and cry when this is over with. and they've got an Indiana monthly the same day that's going on, and Mist is coming down here because Mist thinks that she's going to leave with some money. She ain't leaving with nothing. Nothing. Mark it down, and if it does happen, somebody's finger slip, there's a faulty controller, something.
Now you're taking a page out of my book. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on to the podcast, Nathan, aka Razor. Where can we get you on social media besides the Twitch stream?
Twitch stream, NWO Razor on Twitter. Facebook, I'm Nathan Little. If you're in any of the statewide Smash groups, I'm in there, absolutely spamming my stuff as often as possible. If you're in those groups, I do have. There's a Queen City Streams Facebook page that I'm looking to continue pumping a little bit of content out to, but Twitch seems to be where everybody goes for this right now. So that's the main thing.
Well, thanks so much for coming on to the podcast.
It's your pleasure.
That's going to wrap up the show. Big thanks again to Kentucky, not only Razor, but just Kentucky as a whole for welcoming me and Dr. Copter and Atlas all the way into Big Blue Showdown 2. We had tons of fun, driving there, hanging out, and especially J-Nap, who was super hospitable towards the whole Tennessee crew. And we just really appreciate everything you guys did for us. It was just a fun time all around, and we can't wait to be back, when all this craziness is over with. But appreciate you guys choosing to juice it up. Make sure to let me know what you liked, what you didn't in the comments down below. Other than that, I'll see you all next week.